Subaru Natsuki was just an ordinary guy in Japan, living a regular life. But everything changed one night when he went out to grab some groceries. After buying what he needed, he stepped outside, feeling like something strange was happening around him. Ignoring it, he started crossing the street, but suddenly his eyes began to itch. When he opened them again, he wasn't in Japan anymore. Subaru found himself in a bright, medieval-looking town filled with people wearing old-fashioned clothes. Confused but curious, he wandered around, taking in the sights. As he stood by a fountain, the reality hit him. He had somehow been transported to another world. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, a girl darted across rooftops, clutching something shiny and important. She was clearly on the run, but Subaru had no idea his fate would soon intertwine with hers. Excited by the possibilities, Subaru thought he might have superpowers, like magic since he'd been transported to a new world. But after several embarrassing attempts to use magic, it became clear he had none. Frustrated and broke, Subaru tried to buy food using his old-world money, but got laughed out of a fruit stall. Everyone in the city ignored him, and after a while, he found himself sitting in an alley, feeling defeated. While sulking, Subaru noticed 3 shady guys approach him. They threatened to rob him. Just as things were about to get worse, the girl from the rooftops zipped by, greeting the muggers like old friends before vanishing. Subaru, hoping for some hidden strength, tried to fight back but got beaten up badly. Right before he passed out, a beautiful woman with silver hair appeared. She had a talking cat-like spirit with her and demanded to know about an important heirloom that had been stolen. The woman used her magic to drive off the muggers and save Subaru, but she wasn't exactly friendly. After some questioning, Subaru told her about the girl he saw running across the rooftops earlier. The woman thanked him and was about to leave when Subaru insisted on tagging along to help her find her stolen heirloom. She reluctantly agreed. Over time, Subaru and the woman, who introduced herself as Satella, teamed up to search for clues about the thief. Along the way, they helped a lost little girl find her mother and had a heartfelt conversation about Satella's mixed heritage as a half-elf. Despite her cold exterior, Subaru couldn't help but compliment her beauty, which left her flustered. Their search led them to the slums, where they found the thief, a young girl named Felt, who was trying to sell the stolen heirloom to an assassin named Elsa. When negotiations went sideways, Elsa revealed her deadly skills, attacking everyone in the room. The situation spiraled out of control, and Subaru was fatally wounded. When Subaru opened his eyes again, he was standing in front of the same fruit stall from earlier, completely unharmed. Confused and panicked, he realized he had somehow gone back in time to before everything went wrong. Determined to prevent the tragedy from happening again, Subaru retraced his steps and tried to change the outcome. This time, Subaru warned Satella about the danger, avoided the muggers, and even convinced a powerful knight named Reinhardt to help. Together, they confronted Elsa, but even with everyone working together, the fight was intense. Subaru, knowing he wasn't strong enough to win, made a desperate move to protect his friends. Though he was gravely injured, his bravery inspired Reinhardt to step in and save the day. Reinhardt explains he was summoned by Felt after finding her running through the empty streets. He asks Elsa to surrender peacefully, but she refuses with a chilling smile. Reinhardt chuckles and tells Subaru to stay near Amelia, who is busy healing the injured old man, Ram. Subaru talks briefly with Amelia while Reinhardt draws a rusted sword to face Elsa. Despite using an old blade, Reinhardt easily breaks her weapon and keeps up the pressure. Once Amelia finishes healing Ram, Subaru signals Reinhardt to stop holding back. Smiling, Reinhardt unleashes a massive magical attack, blowing the area apart and leaving Elsa defeated, or so they thought. Subaru breathes a sigh of relief, happy he won't need to repeat this day through his mysterious restart ability. Just then, Elsa reappears, trying to ambush Amelia. Subaru quickly grabs a wooden baton and blocks the attack, saving her just in time. Elsa, realizing she's failed, retreats, but promises she'll return. After things calm down, she tells him her name is Amelia. She thanks him for his bravery and offers a handshake, which he accepts. Reinhard, meanwhile, picks up the broken weapon Subaru used to block Elsa's attack and notices it was cut cleanly in half. Subaru suddenly realizes he's been injured and collapses unconscious. Subaru wakes up in Emilia's mansion, surprised that his wounds are completely healed. Wandering through the looping hallways, he stumbles into a room where a girl who looks like a child is reading books. Mistaking her for an ordinary kid, Subaru makes a few rude comments. This girl, Beatrice, punishes him by draining his energy and tossing him out. Later, Subaru overhears two maids gossiping about him and realizes they don't think much of him. Before he can respond, Emilia enters to check on him. Subaru joins her in the yard for a morning walk, where Puck, her magical companion, appears. Subaru plays with Puck, which makes Emilia smile and call him weird. The maids soon arrive, announcing the return of Roswal, the mansion's lord. At breakfast, Roswal explains the kingdom is without a king due to a recent epidemic. Subaru worries he might somehow be involved, but is reassured by Roswal that he's not suspected of anything. Emilia reveals her royal insignia, which proves her eligibility to become the next ruler. Wanting to stay useful, Subaru asks to be hired as a butler. The maids measure him for a uniform and show him around the mansion. Though he struggles with basic chores, Subaru is determined to prove himself. Over the next few days, Subaru bonds with the maids, especially Rem, despite her sharp tongue. He also continues trying to get closer to Emilia, even asking her on a date. Though hesitant at first, Emilia agrees after some convincing, leaving Subaru thrilled. But Subaru's happiness is short-lived. One night he feels a chill and collapses, poisoned by an unknown attacker. An assassin appears and finishes him off, sending Subaru back to his starting point, alive, but once again at the beginning of this cycle. Determined to uncover the truth, Subaru takes a new approach. Instead of working as a butler, he asks to stay as a guest to observe the mansion's residents. He investigates everyone, including Beatrice, who eventually reveals that Subaru is cursed. Someone in the mansion, or nearby, has been draining his life force, causing his repeated deaths. The next day, Subaru packed his things to leave the mansion. Emilia, worried about his safety, begged him to stay, but Subaru had already made up his mind. He reassured her he would be fine and said his goodbyes. As Subaru walked into the forest, he glanced back at Emilia's room. He pulled out a shiny kitchen knife and stared at it, as if waiting for something to happen. By evening, an assassin appeared, forcing Subaru to run for his life. Cornered on a cliff, Subaru prepared to fight, only to realize his attacker was none other than Rem. Rem showed no remorse, accusing Subaru of plotting against Emilia. Desperate, Subaru used his phone to blind her with its light and ran. But before he could get far, Rem injured his leg, immobilizing him. She demanded the truth, but Subaru had none to give. In frustration, she accused him of smelling like the witch, which disgusted her. Subaru cried, begging for mercy, but Rem ignored his pleas and ended his life. Subaru woke up in bed terrified to find Rem and Ram nearby. Confused, he said nothing until Emilia arrived. When she did, he warned her to stay away from him, fearing the curse would harm her too. Subaru tried to explain everything to Emilia, but a dark presence stopped him. A shadowy hand gripped his heart, warning him not to speak of his time loop. Subaru decided to isolate himself instead. That night, Subaru dreamed of his horrific encounter with Rem, but woke up feeling comforted by Betty's protective magic. The next morning, he helped Betty in her library but grew restless and wandered outside. He found Emilia, who asked him to follow her. They ended up in a room where Ram was crying over Rem's lifeless body. Ram accused Subaru of being involved, but Betty intervened before things escalated. Overwhelmed by guilt and desperation, Subaru decided to die again in hopes of resetting the timeline. He found a cliff, but hesitated, too scared to jump. Betty eventually found him and promised to help him. This gave Subaru the courage to make the ultimate sacrifice. He thanked everyone for their kindness and leaped off the cliff, ending his life once more. Subaru woke up again, back in bed with Ram and Rem. He smiled, relieved to see them alive. Although they were suspicious of his strange behavior, Subaru resolved to take a new approach. Determined to earn their trust, Subaru asked Roswal for work around the mansion. By helping others, he hoped to avoid suspicion. During one of his tasks, he learned that his magical attribute was Shadow, a rare and powerful ability. This discovery excited him, but it also came with risks. One day, while visiting the village with Rem and Ram, Subaru encountered a cursed dog that bit him. Betty later revealed that the bite had placed a curse on him, turning him into a target for witch fiends. Realizing the danger, Subaru worked tirelessly to protect the village. When children started disappearing, he and Rem ventured into the forest to investigate. They found the kids weakened and marked with curses. Subaru vowed to save them, no matter the cost. As they fought off cursed dogs, Subaru witnessed Rem's transformation into a berserker. She lost control, attacking everything in sight. Subaru risked his life to stop her, bringing her back to her senses. The battle left Subaru gravely injured, but he survived. Back at the village, he began piecing together the mystery of the curse. In the demon clan, twins were considered taboo. Ram, the elder of the clan, decided the newborn twins should be killed to uphold tradition. Ram, the stronger of the two sisters, used her immense powers to stop them. Her display of strength left the elders in awe, and the twins were allowed to live. As the years passed, Ram and her sister Rem grew into beautiful young girls. Ram was a prodigy, adored by the villagers for her skills and charm. Meanwhile, Rem struggled to find her place, often feeling like she was living in her sister's shadow. Even their mother seemed to favor Ram, leaving Rem to push herself harder to gain approval. Despite the favoritism, Ram understood her sister's pain. She often helped Rem and encouraged her to keep trying. One day, Rem decided to cook a special meal for the family to prove her worth. She ventured into the forest to gather ingredients, but got caught in a sudden storm. A falling tree nearly crushed her, but Ram saved her just in time. Back home, after dinner, their mother mildly scolded Rem for troubling Ram again. That night, Rem had a nightmare about being labeled a failure by the villagers. She ran to a shed to hide, but Ram found her, comforted her, and reminded her that she was loved. Life continued peacefully until one fateful night. Rem woke up to find Ram burning down their village, including their own home. Confused and terrified, Rem watched as her sister's immense power consumed everything. As Ram approached Rem to protect her, a villager attacked Ram from behind and severed her horn, the source of her power. With her horn gone, Ram was left powerless. From that day forward, Rem blamed herself for her sister's loss. She dedicated her life to supporting Ram, cleaning, fighting, and ensuring Ram was safe and cared for. Her guilt drove her to push herself to the limit, hoping to atone for what had happened. One day, Rem, Ram, and a newcomer named Subaru were fleeing from a dangerous pack of creatures. They hid in the forest, but Rem couldn't hold back her feelings of self-doubt. She asked Subaru why he risked his life to save someone as worthless as her. Subaru, frustrated by her negativity, headbutted her and told her to stop thinking so poorly of herself. He reminded her she wasn't just Ram's replacement. She was her own person and deserved to be saved. Subaru later devised a risky plan to distract the creatures so the sisters could escape. He faced the pack's leader, using his shadow powers to blind the beast and injure it. Just as he was about to be defeated, their master Roswal arrived and saved him. Rem and Ram rushed back to thank Roswal and Subaru for their bravery. Later, Subaru woke up in bed, with Rem sitting beside him. She apologized for doubting herself and thanked him for everything he had done. Subaru reassured her, listing all the reasons she was special. For the first time, Rem cried openly, feeling a weight lifted off her shoulders. She smiled, a genuine, beautiful smile that showed she was finally starting to heal. If you enjoyed this recap, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Have a great day.